guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're still here in Arizona because guess what? We got this truck right here. This is it. This is the all-new, first time ever, first driving of the Hummer EV truck from GMC. But before we get into this super-sized super truck, let's talk about what's going on here. GMC is doing the business with their first electrified truck, known as the Hummer EV truck, bringing tons of horsepower, tons of torque, and crazy features and technology to make driving an off-road vehicle different from ever before. We've already done some off-roading. We're gonna be doing some more, and you are gonna be on the ride with us. Now, this is gonna be a quicker overview because we wanna get to those first driving impressions and on-throttle action. So I'll leave the link at the end of this review of the full in-depth review where we go through every square inch of this vehicle. But let's go ahead. It's been since 2010 since a new Hummer was built. A little bit different, but I think you're gonna enjoy some of the magic, especially when it comes to the driving of that mighty name. Let's find out, is this Hummer EV truck worth buying once you get behind the wheel and drive it? Let's find out. Right off the bat, the presence. Now, one thing right at the start that makes driving this truck so amazing off-road is the amount of ground clearance. You have 10 inches of ground clearance right from the get-go, plus there's excavation mode where you could raise it another 6 inches. We have the ultimate battery pack in the bottom with those 24 modules, all liquid cooled. That's gonna lower the center of gravity. Full LED lighting. So not only do we have our LED daytime running lamps and signature lighting across the front with the Hummer name, we also have our LED headlights as well. And then of course, to pull out those lesser trucks, we have those bronze tinge color on our tow hooks. Full metal skid plates. That's another thing that's gonna make you feel confident. Skid plates, 5 of them underneath this truck, and what's great is they didn't just bolt them to the bottom of the truck. There's actually a space so that when they hit a rock, it actually gives a little. That actually allows you to be able to go over just about anything. Now, as we come around the bend, what's gonna really help you get through that thick and heavy off-road terrain are these 18-inch wheels, wrapped in Wrangler, not 33s, these are 35-inch tires. Now, what's wild is you can actually adjust the tire pressure from the command center behind the wheel of this beast to make you be able to grapple over just about anything. 18-inch wheel, that off-road style, really giving the grip. And then, of course, the suspension. We have a full air suspension, all 4 corners. That as well is going to give you a nice ride on the highway, but also allow you to raise and lower as you go down the side. Visibility is not a problem. Even though this truck weighs 9,000 pounds, 1,000 horsepower, visibility is not a problem because we have 18 cameras, 360 underneath all 4 corners. We have, of course, our rock sliders and running boards. In here is going to be that ultimate battery pack. That is the great technology that is going to allow GM to really build some unique vehicles like this Hummer EV truck. Working our way towards the rear as we come around the back. Obviously, getting in and out of the bed of the truck can be a challenge for people, but what do we have? We have a power sliding tonneau cover and, of course, that multi-position tailgate. So you could bring down the center, you could put it back up, or you could just bring down, just drop the whole thing. Drop it like it's hot. There's your step, in and out, 1, 2, 3. And that's gonna allow you to get in the back. You got your kicker sound system, your trusty handle to make it done. You got bed liner, lots of room, LED lighting, tie down hooks, and your power source supply. That's gonna make going camping that much greater. But why don't we go ahead, I'm dying. If you notice, I don't know if you saw this, on throttle, let's go ahead. It says on throttle on this truck, it wants to go. Let's get into the interior real quick, get through that because I'm ready to go watts to freedom with you in this 1,000 horsepower super truck. All right, guys, we're inside this first edition 2022 Hummer EV truck from GMC. I know you want to know the price again. How much is it? Is it going to be worth it after we show you what the driving action is about? Let me tell you the price. MSRP is $110,000, but we're going to be going on throttle. But until we do, we're going to make this brief. If you want to see more in depth, like I said, I'll leave the link to the full in-depth one, the first one we did, at the end of this review, to the door panels. Real quick, there's your color combo. I hope you like black and white, because that's the only way you could get it with the first edition. And of course, like I said before, we got our bottle of Tang and astronaut space ice cream. Going from the door panel to the dash, just the way everything is arranged really allows you to feel comfortable. The size of the vehicle might seem like it's too much, but when you're behind the wheel, it feels nice and tidy, and I like that. One of the most important screens that I like to put up, of course, is having that G meter with your drift angle. Another great thing is by hitting that H button, we could get into the pitch, the roll. Very, very important when you're off-roading. You could actually add auxiliary items like a winch, extra lighting, and you have all your buttons right here in the infotainment system screen. Plus, like I showed you before, you're able to move these widgets. The most important one I like to keep at top. That's going to be the camera. That's so important, and you'll see when we go off-roading. Everything else is well laid out with the toggle switches. Of course, we're going to be locking that virtual rear diff and the front mechanical diff. You got nicely shaped, good size on the AC vents. Your electric shifter for that direct drive transmission. This is your mode selector knob. Lots of storage spaces, including in the center console. You got a nacho tray for your friendly astronauts when they come visit, or the aliens when they come and abduct you. You can put gifts for the aliens when they take you to meet their leader. You can put them in there, and then the seats. Like I said, two-tone material, grippy, gonna keep you in place, and you got electric assist, plus the ability to take all this off to really change the driving experience. But speaking of driving, get your butt over here. I want to show you behind the wheel of this Hummer EV truck. All right, guys, now before I let you in, from this place right here, this command center, you're in charge of 1,000 horsepower. One electric motor up front, two electric motors out rear. You got the virtual rear locking diff, the front mechanical locking diff, and we're gonna be able to showcase all of that when we go off-roading. 9,000 pound weight, but don't worry about how much this vehicle weighs. 0 to 60 with that launch control system known as Watts to Freedom, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. We got a range of 329 miles. You could use 800 volt charging capacity. You could charge 100 miles in 12 minutes. And crab walking feature, which is another cool way of operating this vehicle. And of course, we got rear wheel steering. Amazing, the technology, and Super Cruise. So we got it all. What else do we have? We have this electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel, a 13-inch digital display where you could pull up energy usage, nice and simple. There's our roll and pitch for that great off-roading, how much charge we're using, all of those great features, plus mileage, really clear display, nicely well laid out. Now, if you want to see the back seat, click the link at the end of this one to see the full in-depth review. I know I sound like a broken record, but if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going on throttle in this Hummer EV truck. Let's do it. All right, guys, we're here at base camp. We are now inside the Hummer EV truck. Just amazing, the technology, the engineering. This is what WTF is all about. No, not that. It's Watts to Freedom. So we are going to do that launch control in this truck that really is meant for off-roading, but wait until you see the acceleration. If you're ready, I'm ready. We've gone through the process. We lowered it down, and it is now game time. I have my left foot on the brake. I'm now gonna floor it, and we're off! And then you get on the brakes, cruising down the highway. It's amazing with the size of this vehicle. When you first see it, you're gonna be like, wow. Is that gonna be difficult to navigate on highways and side streets and through the areas where I live? And the big surprise you're gonna have right off the bat, it feels smaller when you're behind the wheel. With that rear wheel steering and how you're able to do the one pedal operation really allows you to feel confident and comfortable driving down the road. Now we're on the highway and we're driving towards the trailhead because we're gonna be doing what GMC wants us to do, and that's showcase what this super truck can do, not only on-road, but off-road. So as we're cruising down the highway, really love the very nice compliant ride. You'll notice we have another Hummer EV truck directly in front of us. Kind of cool to see the two of us cruising down the highway and getting all these stares from people because they don't know what the heck they're seeing. But I love the way everything is laid out in here. The navigation, we're using Google Maps, easy to figure out. The nice large digital gauge instrumentation, and then all the different modes that you have really allows you to create the personality you want.
Lanes to take exit 15B for Arizona 101 Loop West.
You can hear the voice, that nice soft voice to direct you where to go with your navigation, how you have it set up. Seats are comfy, supportive. What I'm noticing, and obviously this is going to be a thing with the wonderful infinity roof, is a little bit of extra wind noise. Those panels, they fit together very well, but there is a tad of wind noise coming from them, but nothing too crazy. The surprising thing is, with the off-road tires that we have, not too much road noise. You get a nice hum from the powertrain. All right, guys, here we are at the trailhead. We're starting our off-roading of the Hummer EV truck. We got another Hummer in front of us. And it's kind of cool because you can see how that rear wheel steering works, the beefy control arms with the suspension. I like how light the steering feel is when you go into off-road mode. Right now, you could be in off-road mode, they said, or terrain mode. We chose off-road to kind of just have it set there, ready to rock and roll and do its thing. But interesting how, like I said, we're on this tight dirt trail, but you don't feel like you're gonna hit everything. It really is showing how not only having that Ultium battery module in the belly of this Hummer, bringing that center of gravity down, the rear wheel steer, which you can see, like I said, at work from the Hummer in front of us, and then the air suspension. You got 10 inches of ground clearance, and then you go into excavation mode, that's gonna be an extra 6 inches of ground clearance. But we're starting off on the easy side of things, and then we're gonna get a little bit more of a difficulty level. If you're wondering, did they adjust any of the tire pressures? No. Air pressure is exactly where we were at as we were driving down the city streets, because they know a lot of owners are gonna have it that way and just go right to the trails and enjoy the off-road drive. All right, guys, here we are. I changed the camera angle. We put it into terrain mode for our first major obstacle here, and it is just unbelievable. The suspension travel, this is something that if you're worried about hitting the battery in the bottom, the ultimate battery in the bottom of the Hummer, there's nothing. Plus you got 5 skid plates, a total of 5 skid plates and rock sliders. All right, guys, we're in this washed out riverbed here, and what's great about this little challenge that they have for us is that it really allows you to maneuver left to right very, very easily with that rear steer, and that's going to help you avoid some of the sharper rocks or get yourself in a position to go over them to where you're not going to cause any damage to any of the tires or the underside of the vehicle. Even though we got the 5 skid plates, you still don't just want to bang them around like crazy. So having the ability to have that rear steer, I got the cameras working here really showcases, and what's great is you could change the angles of the cameras. Look at out the back. Very, very easily, which is great, depending on what you need. And that's what is going to allow this truck to do things that other trucks do not. I mean, look at that. You can count the pebbles in planet Earth. Here's side to side, and then right back to where we started. Very, very cleanly. How about underneath? Look at that, the tires. That is really, really wild. You can actually see the rocks as we're going over them. But really cool to have those camera angles within any given moment. Look at that, underside of the Hummer EV. All right, guys, before we get to the Vista, they have us going through one more tricky obstacle here. And as you can see, the Hummer in front of us doing its thing, getting to the top. We're gonna give them some room, and then it's gonna be our turn. Really, really cool signature tail lights that they have. Sideways H's, basically a vertical standing H. But if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going up this steep incline here. But here we go, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Remember, we got those 5 skid plates. We got the rock rails, the rock sliders. There we go. That's all one pedal operation. All right, guys, I think one of the biggest advantages of this truck is, like I mentioned before, that rear wheel steering. I almost feel like every off-road truck needs to have this, because it makes the job of navigating a large vehicle through this narrow trail so simplistic. The feedback and the steering is phenomenal. I'm able to really get a notion of what the suspension is doing, what the tires are doing, and then having all the different camera angles makes life so easy with this truck. You can see up front, the Hummer EV in front of us, I can actually see the underbelly of it with the 5 different skid plates. That one has the red package, which gives you the red tow hooks. The Hummer name is in red, and also on the front of the vehicle. So there are some other packages besides the one that we have to really get a special, unique touch. Really, this turn here, you can see the Hummer in front of us, that rear wheel steer. You go out a little wide, and then you're really able to turn down nicely. And even though it's hard for me to see because of the large hood, the high resolution cameras, and right now I don't even have my foot on the throttle or brake. We're just using that hill descent control feature that just allows us to cruise on down and make such a what could be a difficult task very, very easy. I think the one thing you're really going to enjoy is the quietness that you have from this being an EV. It really makes you feel one with nature because it's so quiet. But you'll notice the structure is very strong, very sturdy. We're not getting a bunch of cracks and rattles, and this is a pre-production like we pointed out. So good news with how they brought this vehicle to market, but also just how the driving of it is. Very, very composed and very well built, just as you can see from what we're doing with it right now on this trail road. You got the 2 virtual lockers out back, and then you have the mechanical electric locking diff up front. That really gives the Hummer EV quite an advantage and unique driving experience. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. You can see where we're gonna drop down here, and we're gonna take it easy. I mean, I know we have skid plates, but we're not gonna try to use them too much if we could avoid it. But look at that, really nice. And then we're just going to power out. And you'll notice how I'm able to use 1,000 horsepower with one pedal, and it's just so feather smooth, so feather light. Really, really nice action. Love it. This thing is a blast, even though we're a little worried here because we're not used to doing this, because in Florida we don't usually have terrain like this. But it really just puts a smile on your face. And you'll notice also the Hummer in front of us has the drop down rear glass. So they put the glass down in the lower position, and that's another just nice flexibility. You could take the roof off, you could take out the rear glass, you could even take out the mid bar for the T-tops and really just give yourself a unique experience. You know, one of the words that I've been kind of trying to hold back on utilizing in this review, this full first drive review, is a word that starts with E. And I think I'm gonna say it. This Hummer EV truck is easy to drive, whether you're on-road or definitely off-road. The rear wheel steering, the 3 electric motors, not 2, 3 electric motors, the virtual rear locker setup, the mechanical front locker, and all the other great suspension and chassis setup with this vehicle makes it easy to drive. Even though it weighs 9,000 pounds, even though it's massive in size, it makes it so easy to drive. And I think that is what is probably one of the most enjoyable things about this truck, is not only can you do 0 to 60, but then you could take it on a trail like this and really have some fun with an electric vehicle. And that being an electric vehicle that bears the name Hummer. It's definitely doing the Hummer name proud. Even though this isn't a brand like it once was, I think the Hummer name is definitely receiving the justice that it deserves since its elimination back in 2010. Balance, whether you're on-road or off-road, makes it a pleasure and very confidence inspiring. Let me do a quick acceleration. Obviously, we got about 50% battery life left, so we don't have full 1,000 horsepower right now, but we have enough. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Yeah. Really, really fun. Nice, that way the torque instantly hits. And you've seen the footage. We're putting the footage of doing the watts to freedom in this review, but for a large truck, like I said, on this narrow road leading to and from this resort, it really allows us to showcase the handling. And this isn't a corner carver, and we do have those 35-inch off-road tires, but what makes it so great is having that 4-wheel steering and all the chassis refinement, all that weight, very, very low center of gravity. I mean, look at this. Side to side, real easy, nice acceleration, great braking. You got that regen braking, one pedal action if you want it, and just really the ability to put this thing in positions that you've never thought of. I mean, watch this. We're gonna do some, nobody's coming. I'm gonna turn the wheel all the way. I mean, here we are doing a 360 turn right at the end of this street here, staying within the paved area. Not many trucks are going to be able to do that, that's for sure. All right, guys, hopefully this has been one heck of an adventure for you, because it's been one heck of an adventure for us. So glad to share the on-throttle excitement behind this first ever super truck. We're going to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a nanosecond. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a memorable moment here in Arizona. I definitely got to thank the whole GMC team for inviting us to get behind the wheel of this super truck. Driving it really allowed us to showcase going over the off-road stuff, going on-road, all the technology. I know how I feel about the truck. What I want to know is, how do you feel? Is this the super truck to buy now that you were able to drive it with me here on Rady's Rides and have that on-throttle fun? Let me know what you think in the comment section. But until we meet again in another place and another time with another vehicle, if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you are wanting to help support the channel and helping us create this on-throttle excitement, hit that link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the best in the biz. You know who that is. Lori working that camera like a champ. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.